जय राधा माधव
देना ही पड़ेगा।
After listening, then we'll come to why you should breath. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Ajnanam Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Vandeham Sri Gurun Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathantam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Shri Vishakanatamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktaranga
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pankam langhayam yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Paramanandam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 1 and text number 43. Bhriguhu kyatyaan mahabhagaha. Bhriguhu kyatyaan mahabhagaha. Patnyam putran ajijanat. Patnyam putran ajijanat. Dataram cha vidataram. Dataram cha vidataram. Sriyam cha bhagavat param. Bhriguhu kyatyam mahabhagaha. Kyatyam mahabhagaha. Patnyam putran ajijanat. Patnyam putran ajijanat. Dataram cha vidataram. Dataram cha vidataram. Sriyam cha bhagavat param. Bhriguhu kyatyam mahabhagaha. Patnyam putran ajijanat. Patnyam putran ajijanat. Dataram cha vidataram. Dataram cha vidataram. Shriyam cha bhagavat param. Shriyam cha bhagavat param. Bhriguhu kyatyam mahabhagaha. Patnyam putran ajijanat. Dataram cha vidataram. Shriyam cha bhagavat param. Okay. So read the word by word translation. Bhriguhu, the great sage. Bhrigu, Kyatyam, in his wife. Kyati, his wife Kyati. Mahabhagaha, greatly fortunate. Patnyam, unto the wife. Putran, sons. Aji Janat, gave birth. Dataram, Data. Cha, also. Vidataram, Vidata. Shriyam, a daughter named Shri. Cha, Cha Bhagavat Param, and a great devotee of the Lord. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The sage Bhrigu was highly fortunate. In his wife, known as Khyati, he begot two sons named Dhata and Vedata, and one daughter named Shri, who was very much devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, first of all, I'd like to seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas who are attending here in person or online, because I'm completely unqualified to sit on a Vyasasana and speak. That you will definitely come to know once I complete my talking. But just want to purify myself. I would like to repeat the words of our previous acharyas and other devotees in our movement. I'd like to beg the blessings from all the Vaishnavas actually. Without the blessings, I won't speak properly. So, last couple of days, especially Sham Kishore Prabhu and Jai Sachinandan Krishna Prabhu, and they were all talking about different topics, false ego, and then yesterday, very wonderful session again on the topics of the material disease. So we'll continue on top of that. Then we also celebrated Nrsimha Chaturdasi last Wednesday, so we will also cover a couple of points. The words that are exchanged between the Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. Right? Whenever this pastime comes to my mind, first thing is I just want to reiterate myself as Hiranyakashipu. So because being in Krishna consciousness for a certain number of years will qualify so many unwanted weeds. I am 15 years practicing Krishna consciousness, right? So all those things I have in my heart. So whenever I read the pastimes of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj, and then listen these wonderful lectures, and always remember myself as Hiranyakashipu. If I don't remember myself as Hiranyakashipu, naturally I boast as a Prahlad, the devotee. If you look at the same, we can cover that how a devotee thinks, how a demon thinks, right? Especially every one of you already aware of that, how Hiranyakashipu is philosophically convincing Hiranyaksha's wife, right? When Hiranyaksha was killed by Lord Vishnu, he was convincing Hiranyaksha's wife that, "No, why are you crying? Right? After all, the body is left, the soul left." Is telling the true essence of body and soul, right? And he gives a nice analogy there, nice analogy of suyagnas. He was trying to pacify the wives, but he could not. So then, we have to tell the story. Many times, because of false ego or the distressful situation, one may be not able to accept the instructions. Then that's how the devotees try to, give a different ways of explaining. And here Hiranyakashipu is also doing the same thing. He's philosophically presenting to wives of Hiranyaksha about Suyagna's story. Suyagna is a great king, and once he passed away, all the wives of Suyagna are crying for the body, and not for the body, just crying for the king. And then, by looking at their extreme crying, actually Yamaraj comes. Yamaraj comes in a small baby form, and he comes, and he tried to ask, why are you crying? When all the wives say, my husband passed away, and Yamaraj says, no, he's there. Look at that, he's there, right? And then all the wives are, no, the soul left, this is body. And really, so Yamaraj asks, you know that the soul left, right? And this is a body. And let's cry so extremely, then the soul may come back. No, no use, right? No use. Even if you cry, also the soul won't come. And this is not the body. No, this is not the soul. This is not the body. This is body. And you know that by crying, the soul will not come back into the body, right? And then why you are crying? Then there's no, you don't understand. The wives tell Yamaraj, you guys you don't understand. Talking to myself, same thing. We have so many examples of so many people passing around, and but we don't focus on the spiritual aspect of it. We just engrossed into bodily needs and bodily comforts, Hmm? The demons have this tendency, right? Now, by telling this story, Hiranyakashipu is pacifying the wives of Hiranyaksha. Very nice, wonderfully. I was just like laughing at myself, my situation, because I'm sitting here and then speaking always. As soon as I go out again, I'll be like Hiranyakashipu only. What did Hiranyakashipu do? As soon as this episode is over, let's meet now. What is our next target? Vishnu. Now he killed my brother, right? Immediately he's onto the bodily platform again. So like that, my situation also like that. Please forgive me. Please pray for me so that I'll be doing that, walking the talk, right? So devotees are actually the difference between devotees and demons. Demons, first they do not know philosophy. Second, they know the philosophy but they don't put into practice. The devotees are who knows the philosophy and also who practices the philosophy. You are that is one thing, because here the verse also, Bhrigu was highly fortunate because he got sons and one daughter, and who was very much devoted to the Supreme Personality of God. When we are devoted to Supreme Personality of God, that is called fortune. When we are attached to material things, then that is a misfortune. Hiranyakashipu is started talking about how to take revenge on Lord Vishnu. That is what his main target. When we understand the uh, the material disease, this misidentification of this body as our own self, that is the root cause of all the problems. Prahlad Maharaj, we just go to the 3-4 slokas of Prahlad Maharaj. And based on that, the first thing that Prahlad Maharaj says to Hiranyakashipu coming from the school, he asked Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, what did you learn from school? Very lovingly, he asks. What Prahlad Maharaj says, first thing is, the root of the problems is just our identification of the body as a self. This misidentification of this body as a self is the problem of this world. And what we should do, the solution also Prahlad Maharaj says, just give up material things, material attachments, and go to forest and meditate on Lord Hari. This is the statement that he's saying. The root problem is misidentification of this body. This is very much engrossed into our lifestyle. Because when we see something around us, somebody is passing out, then we will have some question and then some understanding. A few days we will have that. Okay, we are also going to go one day, but we don't continue that consciousness. After a few days, we'll forget naturally. I still remember when I was my first job back in India as a civil engineer. These guys have an enormous project. The first project in Hyderabad where they construct these big apartments and a triangle shape, and then about like 80 feet, 90, 100, almost 100 feet height, right? This triangle, they try to put a grid on top of these 3 apartments in a triangle, and then they do the grid so that they'll cover the grid and then natural lighting inside, some decoration. To do that, they put the scaffolding from the base. Like if you go to Mayapur, you see the scaffolding of the big Devotee temple. Unfortunately, that's very few early days of those scaffoldings. So we used to work on top of that, right? So we used to work on top of that, and they don't have money to cover the entire thing, and they covered only half of it. And then on top of the the grid that they put, the scaffolding, they usually put flat iron things, and they don't have money. They put wooden, things. And that's how olden days they do, right? These workers are actually, I was working with them, and then one worker is trying to pull the this concrete thing, and then he slipped. Just one here is working. I am here. He slipped, and then I just watching from the top, just like a doll, hitting on all the corners, and then fell down, and then we ran, and then we.
Protection. So would you like something tying
No.
the waist?
In India is not like US, right? So it's a gross, and we ran to the ground floor, and then we just picked him up, and then we tried to put him in the car, and and we are trying to take him completely bled, put a blanket and then driving him, and then he passed away in the car itself. And the surprising to me is like the owner of these workers, right? He's not actually the owner of the business; he just maintains the owners. And he came, he's passed away, and in the hospital before joining the hospital, he passed away. And he comes there, and he's like crying profusely. Oh my, this one, that one, you are there for so long, working for me. That one, this one, 5 minutes, profusely crying. And after 6th minute, okay, what should we do? How to get money from the building owner? He is already dead. Now we want money from him. This is his immediate thing. Like immediate 5 minutes only, he just cried. Literally, I was watching the whole thing. That is the first and last I was working in a construction company. So
He fell on what? I mean,
he fell from the top 100 floors. Scaffolding, you put scaffolding on top scaffolding, they do the cement work, right? In TOVP, you see the scaffoldings of the TOVP. He fell from the top, just next to me. Then it just felt like a doll, like literally it's completely flat. And his wife, everybody's there. The children were there in the same site. It when he cried, I was thinking like he was having so much compassion for this person. The 6th minute when he talks about money, I was like so mad actually, literally mad. Um, that is what our precarious situation. Talking to myself, when Prahlad Maharaj is giving these wonderful reasons, right? What is the solution that he is providing? Come out of this material disease by give up material things and completely go to forest and worship Lord Hari. Kishore Prabhu always says, if you're really convinced about this, next time, you don't speak, you'll join full time. If you really understand the value of our life, this is something very high. Because when I speak, when I don't follow, right? So I don't have adhikar to say that. Especially caught up with so many other things. This world is offering so many things, all the material attachments. So give up material things and go to forest. Our forest is Srila Prabhupada always says. Vrindavan is, Vana is like Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada has created this wonderful organization, ISKCON, where we don't need to go to forest, right? We can, wherever Radha Krishna are there. So it is called Vrindavan. And we can serve the Supreme Lord with complete and devotion. And that is what Srila Prabhupada is offering to all of us. And the first time when Prahlad speaks like this, Hiranyakashipu was not angry first time, because he always thinking yeah, maybe some devotee has entered into my kingdom, and they are spoiling my son. So he was giving some benefit of doubt. And next time when he calls again, he asks the same thing. What is what did you learn? And again he starts saying, you know, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. The 9 processes of devotional service is the way that one should be performing bhakti. So he's again talking about all these things. Then Hiranyakashipu was very angry. Where are you learning all these things? I am not learning anything. He's saying is as a natural state of iron is to attract towards the magnet, right? I am naturally inclined towards the Supreme Lord Hari. He's like a magnet. I am like an iron, right? He's giving that why this spontaneity came, because I'm a piece of iron and Lord is like a magnet. Simply he is attracting everyone. Right? When Bhagavatam talks about these two things, especially out of 10 topics of Bhagavatam, this Prahlad and Narsinga's pastime is like telling about the swabhava, how a devotee should be, how one should not be. Like Prahlad is representing how a devotee should be, and Hiranyakashipu is representing how one should not be practicing. You know, these are the two things. The swabhava is explained here, and now Hiranyakashipu is so angry, so angry. If that is the case, why I am not attracted to the Supreme Lord Hari? Immediately he asks, right? And when he said that, the next thing that Prahlad says is the famous verse. Prahlad says, Matirna Krishna paratasvato mito vipajate grihavratanam adanta gopi vishatam tamishram puna punascharvata charvanana. What is he saying? When one is attracted, one is addicted to the sense gratification, then we are completely ignorant of the instructions by others or by own self or by both. We will never get Krishna. He's telling to Hiranyakashipu, why I am not attracted? I am just talking to myself. Why I am not attracted to Krishna? Because of completely engaging in the sense gratification. So much is there in that. As soon as I walk out, all the instructions of Hiranyakashipu is over, and then Hiranyakashipu's natural state comes out like that. I'm also trying to enjoy and engage in myself in different things because of this bodily consciousness. Completely engrossed into the body. I am this body, I am this body, I am this body. It's telling like as soon as the body is giving pain, then I, instead of going out of the body, I am always thinking I am this body, how to correct this situation, how to keep my body healthy so that I can do all the nonsense. That is what my state. This when he's heard this, Hiranyakashipu is so angry. So angry that he's telling Hiranyakashipu is thinking about my son is not now, he is not considering him son. He's completely considering him as his enemy. If we are not attracted to the holy names, if we're not attracted to the association of devotees, if you're not attracted to the scriptures, then if you're not attracted to the beautiful form of Radha Gopi Janvalabha, then obviously we are completely engrossed in the sense gratification. Right? We should be completely absorbing ourselves in Krishna. Then we can completely avoid the material sense gratification. This whole society is created in such a way that we are completely engrossed in material sense gratification. Right? Here, as Prahlad Maharaj says, Punah Punascharvita Charvanana. So I enjoyed my life like this, so my son also have to enjoy like this. My great grandson also should enjoy like life like this. There is no other thing, except this sense gratification. When I was, talking to my son's school teacher, and they were like telling me, you know, he was whatever problem, behavioral things are there, then they start telling, because one thing, he doesn't watch TV, that's why he is having problem. That's what a nonsense is that. They always tell the reason like, he's not watching the TV, so that's what it is. The whole society is created like that. When I was talking to my colleague, it's so unfortunate to tell this, but I'm just telling. They were telling that they put the son. She was telling me she put her son in kindergarten 1 year late. I asked why. No, then she was telling the reason. Oh yeah, then in the class he will be like elder, matured, and all that reasons are there, genuine reasons. They'll say. But she's telling to the extent that when he goes for a dating, he will have complete maturity. That is a nonsense I heard. Like, what the hell you're telling? You're coming from this background and you're telling. No, when he goes date, she was thinking to that extent, sense gratification, putting our kids into sense gratification completely. There is nothing else, right? The society is like every time whenever we talk, right? FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. I have this habit in different things. Uh, I always note, okay, when did I watch news? Sometimes, my office, they send California fires, Florida storms. We have to start working on payment, stop payment process. They'll send this. Then immediately I think, okay, something happened. Sometimes I try to open and see, okay, what happened. And just explaining about Hiranyakashipu mentality. So it is always so many times. Everything is like that. There is nothing that we can escape. We are completely entrapped here in engaging our senses in a different way. Instead of engaging in Krishna service, what we are trying to do, we are trying to put ourselves into this condition. Talking to myself as a practitioner, also things that are not needed, also I try to get, and then in the name of service. That is what most unfortunate situation to myself. I was so many times I regret, like, why should I really need, and again so many times I think, and then I finally surrendered to the material energy. It's always like that. Krishna, very very. I just want to cover a few things that Krishna talks about in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita about the same thing, right? When he talks about Sthita Prajna, how a devotee should be, like I always feel like so embarrassed to talk about any other chapter other than second chapter, because myself is not qualified to be practicing the second chapter what Krishna is talking about. What to speak of other chapters and big things that is our scriptures are offering. The basic thing, Krishna is talking about the symptoms of Sthita Prajna. What is the point of saying, this many years I have been practicing if I don't follow the second chapter of Gita that Krishna is telling? Right? It's very unfortunate, but I just want to repeat so that I can and be remembering this and reiterating these things. So whenever you see me, I'm not following, please correct me. Hey, you spoke so many things now, just do this. That way you can correct me. That is one thing actually always. One who gives up all kinds of material desires that arise from the mind, O Partha, and is satisfied in the self as a servant of the Supreme, he is said to be a Sthita Prajna, in pure consciousness. This is this is Krishna is talking about Sthita Prajna, symptoms of Sthita Prajna. How a devotee is talking, how a devotee is sitting, how a devotee is walking, right? How a devotee is talking. Dukkeshvanudvignamana sukeshu vigataspriha vitaraga bhayakrodha stitadirmuniruchyate. He is undisturbed in mind amidst threefold miseries. He is not elated when there is happiness. He is free from attachment, fear, and anger. Such a person is called a sage of steady mind. Now, when will this happen? I'm just talking to myself. When will this undisturbed in mind, when the threefold miseries are coming? As soon as one talks about this, one when one rejects my proposition, immediately I start thinking about he is my enemy, right? Because in at work also we do have the same things, because we continue that same behavior in devotional service also. As soon as one we have to prove in work, we have to prove that our proposition is right. The same tendency will come in devotional service also. My proposition is correct, but Vaishnavism is beyond right or wrong. When my mind is undisturbed among these threefold miseries, especially we can easily see that natural disturbances, the threefold miseries, the daivika. At the same time, because that adi daivika is not happening here, then we forget. Adi daivika is happening somewhere in Ukraine, somewhere is happening in Gaza. Then okay, I am not consider those things. I'm not in that misery, right? So that's why I'm protected. Hmm? And Adi Daivika, Adi Atmika is again like whatever I'm saying, all the troubles are there always. The Atmika and Adi Bhautika are always with us. Daivika is once in a while it comes. Then we realize COVID came, like, now it's a history, right? COVID. With the numbers that they put, so many people left the planet. That numbers is like just like a Facebook views, right? So many millions of views are there for my post. That's how they encourage. The same thing, the numbers for COVID also there. So, but Bhautika is like easily, I'm talking to myself. This body is giving all types of troubles. Then I always think I am this body only. There is nothing else. I was praying to the Supreme Lord, and there's nothing that I can do. Our goal is to worship Radha and Krishna, but because recently when we celebrated Narsinga Chaturdasi, I had this doubt, like, initially, how this Narsinga Dev's prayers are important. Um, Initially, first time when we went to Kensington Lake, and then we started in a boat going there. Everybody, devotees are all there. Everybody is starting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Namaste Narasingha. Yeah. Immediately somebody started Namaste Narasingha. Then we said, what happened? What happened? And as soon as the boat is in the middle of the water, then Hare Krishna, instead of Hare Krishna, they started Namaste Narasingha. So the fear, right? As in the middle of the water, nobody is there, only two, three boats. So that's it. Right? And I have this doubt, like, why Narsingadev, worshipping Narsingadev? Yes, Janivas Prabhu and Pankajangiri Prabhu. And I remember Pankajangiri Prabhu was the pujari of the Narsingadev in Mayapur. He tells very beautifully. Somebody asked him, when somebody asked him a question like, why we are worshipping Lord Narsingadev instead of Radha and Krishna. So Radha and Krishna worship is having full of hurdles. What is that? Full of hurdles. And Krishna, when We invited Radha Gopijana Vallabha here. As Jagadguru Prabhu says, like, why, why he is coming? Why Krishna is coming to Farmington Hills? Anyone knows?
because of
Hmm? Because of Srila Prabhupada. More? Taipati Pawan Hari. More? Like he says, he is coming just to enjoy. That's it. Right? He is coming here to enjoy. That's it. There is nothing else. By the desire of the Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees, he is coming to enjoy here. That is his mood. Then we go here, I have a leg problem, I have my job problem. We started petitioning to Radha Gopis like that. So his guest Pankajangri Prabhu was telling like, don't disturb Krishna in his Leela. All the hurdles, go to Narsingadev, go to Narsingadev, and then get cleared from Narsingadev, and then come back to Krishna and serve Krishna nicely, and engage in Krishna service, so that you can also release that. Narsingdev's position is to clear all the obstacles in our service to Radha Gopjana. So here, when we say the fear, right? When do I have this fear? The turbulence. As soon as you sit in a plane, immediately the turbulence comes, then we know what kind of situation we are in. Right. Last time when we were coming, um, kids teach a lot of things. My son was telling, it's a very bad turbulence in the flight coming back, and immediately, why are you worrying? Krishna is there. Whether he follows it or not, but he is reminding me. And he fell down 2 days ago from the cycle, and then I brought him all the medicine here. And then I said, okay, we go home and then we treat the wound. If it is here, Krishna is there, right? I will not have pain. Then I started applying sterilization and everything. Then he was like crying, oh, it's so much pain. And I told like, just now you told in the temple, you you said Krishna is there, you don't get pain. Oh, okay, okay. So all these things, it's very small things, but it carry a lot for how we will have to prepare our consciousness. Every pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. That's how my, Guru Maharaj is, Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was explaining. So you cannot avoid the pain. Whatever, one has to go through, a body will give trouble, right? But the suffering, how we are considering that pain, it depends on how we are taking that situation. So if he is unaffected everywhere in this world by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, such a person is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Krishna is continuing. Sthita Prajna, how he will talk, especially how he sits. This is everyone knows the famous sloka. One is able to withdraw just as a tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, his senses from the sense objects. He is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. Sita Prajna. This is how we can do this, right? How we can restrain our senses as soon as we understand the higher taste. That is where only we can experience that. I have this question, and I did not get the Lord's blessings on this, because without blessings of the Lord, you cannot come to the next stage. Even though artificially, I may be doing so many other things, but one should be getting that higher taste. Then only this can happen. The higher taste for serving the devotees, higher taste for reading scriptures, higher taste for serving the Guru, higher taste for serving Radha Gopal and Vallabha. We should have that higher taste. Without that higher taste, we cannot restrain the senses artificially. If you try to restrain the senses artificially, you may just do it just for the sake of doing it. But we don't continue for long because we are completely absorbed in this material body. One time, uh, one prime minister went to a mental hospital. When he went to a mental hospital, as soon as he walks in, he saw a person coming out. Right, and when he says, what he says is, who are you? Immediately he says that I am the prime minister. Then he says, I was also thinking like that, and then joined this very famous story, right? Mental hospital pastime. And then another person thinks, goes and then he asks, "Who are you?" And he says, this person asks that the patient, and he says, I am the god. No, I am the prime minister." Then who says this? He asks. Prime minister asks that patient, "Who says this? You are the prime minister." Then immediately next person says, "No, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that." What is he saying? One person is thinking I am the prime minister. Another person is thinking I am God. When we are misidentifying our body as a self, then what is our condition? Mental state. Our mental crazy. We are crazy. We have to first accept that we are in crazy state. If you don't accept we are in crazy state, then whatever you do, you have a justification in our life. Right? That completely why we are doing because of this mental state. That is what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Right? Because of your attachment to the body, you are suffering. Somebody says you are nonsense, number one. Then immediately we are affected. We are affected means we are in the bodily state. As simple as that. If we are not affected by that, then we are not that. It's very difficult, right? When somebody scolds, I used to have a friend. He's so much worried that whatever he scolds, his brother will not respond. He's more agitated because he's not responding. Not that he is, doing something, right? Like that, whenever these things come, if we are not affected by this, me and mine, that's it. This generation is called me and mine, right? Everything is based on that. All the things are prepared. Our schools, universities, everything is prepared for this only thing. Me and my mind. What is there for me? Why Prahlad Maharaj can say these things? Only Prahlad can say this because he doesn't have anything to do with this material world. When we don't have anything to gain from this material world, one can speak very boldly like Prahlad Maharaj. When you have some ulterior thing that, okay, I want this one, I want that one, something, so that I don't want to talk the truth, and then I can pacify like this, like that. All these things come because when we have some things from this, when we want something from this world, that's it. Only Prahlad can say this. And he doesn't have anything to do with this world. He doesn't want to take anything from this world. When we have that higher taste, that's what Vishya Vinvartante Niraharasya Rasavarjam Rasopyasya Parandrishtva Nivartante. When we have that higher taste, when we are absorbed in Krishna's activities, then only we can give up and then we can restrain our senses properly. The secret of sense control, like developing higher taste, is a secret of success. There is nothing else. Unless that moment, you cannot do anything. One who is not in Krishna consciousness, however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, is sure to fail ultimately, for the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his desires. When we really understand the pastime of Hiranyakashipu, talking to myself, when Hiranyakashipu is having everything in this universe, he is not happy. Then whatever I minimum thing I am trying to do, achieve something here and there, how I can be happy? This complete illusion is completely bewilders me so many times. He himself is not happy. Why I am continuously gratifying my senses like a like a pig in one way. There is nothing actually. There is whatever powerful situation one may be having, controlling everything. Hiranyakashipu can control the devatas. If I want rain now, he will say, "Give me rain now." The Varuna Dev will come and put rain. That's it. Everybody is afraid, but he himself is cannot able to understand this, control his senses. Hmm? Even the wise are distracted by the senses. Arjuna, although endeavoring to control the senses, even for a man of full discrimination, the senses are so strong and impetuous that they forcibly carry away his mind. Krishna indicates here, this is a beautiful summary by His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, very beautifully says. Krishna indicates here that even a gnani who can discriminate between matter and spirit will be distracted by the senses. So it is better to perform buddhi yoga and not give up the work. Krishna is showing the defect in practicing jnana to establish the superiority of the bhakti. Hmm? Thus, in other things, he directly refers to himself as the object of devotion for the first time. He says this one. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta sita matpara. Vasehi yasyandriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. One who restrains his senses and fixes his consciousness upon me. First thing is restraining senses will not help unless we fix our consciousnesses in Krishna. It is absolute guaranteed thing that one cannot achieve without keeping our senses on Krishna's activities. Keeping the senses under full control is only way by fixing our consciousness upon Krishna. Mind control. What will happen, right? How he sits by controlling the senses, by focusing ourselves in Krishna's activities. What will happen? What is the result of it? How he walks, right? Next thing. What is the next thing? Prasade sarvadukkanam hanir asyopajate. By attaining the Lord's mercy or peace, by all of one's distresses are destroyed. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Unless we get the Lord's mercy, we are not away from all these dualities of this world. Unless the successful thing of controlling the senses and keeping ourselves completely absorbed in Krishna is getting the Lord's mercy. Only with the Lord's mercy, one can have pure consciousness. The intelligence is purified. I'm just speaking to myself. The result of attaining the prasada, the mercy of the Lord, one who is free from attachment and aversion and engages his senses in the sense objects with a controlled mind or regulative principles of freedom, attains peace or mercy of the Lord. Getting the mercy of the Lord is very much needed. Very famous. Yanisha Sarva Bhutani Tasyam Jagrati Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sanisha Pashyato Gune. This whenever I read this loka, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj comes. When I heard first time about his saying, like initially when we are hesitating to put dhoti and going to different stores, I always think like, should I go? And everyone was looking at me. When one time I went to Costco or somewhere that was putting dhoti and everybody was looking at me. And I came back and I heard His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. We think, devotees think, the outside people are crazy. They're crazy. Other people are thinking we are crazy, right? Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, very famous statement. They think we are crazy. That is true. But we don't think. We know they are crazy. Very, very wonderfully says this. Because when I reflected that, the person who is looking at me do not have proper clothes, torn all four places, and he is thinking my dhoti is something weird, isn't it? You know, I was thinking always, I always, immediately my mind goes to his oldness on this. When I first time I heard this, I have a lot of conviction on what we are practicing. And also, actually, I was not able to speak that day. When I watched him, in Rath Yatra, his own as Gopal Krishna Maharaj. See, the goal, ultimate goal is coming out of the bodily platform, right? In Rath Yatra, in Kirtan, Maharaj was performing Harinam and with so much vigor. And I could not see, with his age, right? Rath is not stopping or slowing down, but he is going with the Rath, and in that condition, he is doing Harinam. And our great Sri Radha Mataji was telling that the first time when he attended the Rath Yatra, she was telling that they are completely out of bodily platform. When we see them, I was watching how he's doing Harinam in the Kirtan, in the procession, because I got the opportunity to serve always in the procession. So amazing, like, and the Jagadguru Prabhu said, what serving, we are always comparing different Maharajas serving is difficult. That Jagadguru Prabhu says, what time he sleeps? First of all, I don't know how he doesn't sleep. Gopal Krishna Maharaj. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock also is in the calls in India. That temple, this temple, so many things. He calls Jagadguru, come here. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock also. That's so intense. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj performs devotional service. When he sleeps, when he wakes up, and if you see the deities, His Holiness, when I just still have that, vision in my mind. Very beautiful government, very beautiful government. First time I have seen something like that, almost 10 years, 9 years ago. They're completely absorbed he's completely absorbed in devotional service, in deity worship, elaborate deity worship, all the shalagrams and all. So this is one thing that I always see all the great devotees, how they are completely absorbed in Krishna's service, then only they can be completely engaging their senses. These are all living around us and living, and they are showing the great example of how one should be attached to the Krishna service and get the mercy of the Lord. That's what I can and speak to myself, especially on this, because I started the note. Whenever I listen to Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad's pastime, I always remind myself as Hiranyakashipu. So that's how I can be grounded on this, because the number of years just adds. That's it. It doesn't give anything else, because one should be humble. Then only we get the mercy of the Lord. I don't have that quality, but I just beg the Vaishnavas to get this one quality of humility. Without that, we cannot get the mercy of the Lord. Tantra Srimad Bhagavat ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, so Ruby, I got so many realizations from your class, so many answers, so many questions. Really, 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 really like to hear your class. So, one comment and one question, that what I felt is that unless you don't give your 100% anything you're doing, you're not fully absorbed. If you're not fully absorbed means that you won't actually taste the mellow coming out of that. You will not taste the mellow coming out from that devotional process. So you see from these great souls that they're completely like madly they're absorbed like as if they have nothing else to do in the world and there's nothing else that matters to them at that moment. So fully in the present. So all these pure devotees, you see, I've seen, like even my spiritual master also, it's like they have no schedule practically. The schedule doesn't exist for them, time doesn't exist for them, nothing exists for them. So actually, I want to share also one time, like it's one time Shaman Prabhu was sharing that one time Ramnath Maharaj was had a schedule, as a schedule to go somewhere. I think you know this, so it was not some that happened, I think it's a Saturday or something. So Maharaj gave a long class, then he took the harmonium, so he took the kids, so he took the harmonium, and then he was not stopping, he was going. So then he went and told Maharaj that Maharaj, tomorrow we have to go. So it's that. And Maharaj says, I can't remember exactly, something like, so you don't understand. You understand what's going on right now? So it's like they're in a different realm doing something else. They're like, you don't. So that kind of attraction, like sometimes like you all are such sincere devotees and the association of
Hiranyakashipu, myself.
all of you, I get this kind of feeling and just now such a nice kirtan. So everything combined, it's very motivating, very inspiring. But as you said very nicely, that unless you practice and practice and practice and practice, to change the mental thought trend, like my mind is so sinful, but the mind has a trend of thought of meditating on garbage. So the thing is that to change this thought trend, like Gordon Maharaj also said recently, that unless you associate with someone on prima level, this desire to enjoy will not leave you. I mean, so of course we have Prabhupada, we have Prabhupada's teaching, we have Prabhupada's instruction. So this to manifest this extreme enthusiasm, like all the time, that really, really like, putting your heart into it, like as if nothing else matters, and doing it as if nobody else except Krishna is watching you, doing it for Krishna completely. So that kind of enthusiasm from your realization, can you share something that to increase that enthusiasm? Because like you said, unless you are endeavoring for the higher taste, one cannot give up the Lord. So that very intense endeavor to have the higher taste and like you said, unless you please Krishna, that's Krishna's real word. When Krishna gives us that kind of one-pointed enthusiasm, one-pointed dedication. So, I mean, we're not even talking about rules, we're talking about Nishta here, Nishta, like intense. So, Shivaram Maharaj also says that Nishta, real Nishta means your mind is always thinking of Krishna, mental Nishta. That's only from there you can go to Ruchi. Prabhupada also says in one class that if you are not attaining Ruchi, you're not having faith in feeling the previous cause. So can you share some inspiration on this that to attain this kind of intense absorption and intense enthusiasm, first of all, what is the means?
First of all, I have to agree that I had to tell you that I already told you're talking to a demon, and I don't have that enthusiasm. Many times, you can see here that from yes, Kishore Prabhu corrects me so many times that you are not doing anything, because he has a lot of things that I have to do, but because that enthusiasm is something, from my understanding, I will tell you, I don't have that enthusiasm, and that is why I said, unless Krishna gives that as a mercy, even though I put 24 hours in the temple serving different things, right? Unless Krishna is pleased, that enthusiasm will not come. That is my own experience. And also one time Kishore was telling me that I want to get out of this rat race. Simple thing. But I can artificially quit, but I don't have the mercy of the Lord, that enthusiasm to serve continuously. That the only thing I can say is that has to be given by the Supreme Lord. And when, that's a big question for myself also. So unless he is pleased by our endeavors in serving the devotees, in serving the devotees, the biggest challenge is, it's very difficult to please the devotees. So what happens, then that is where we, talking to myself, going into offenses, aparats in serving devotees sometimes because I'm not careful. And that is that mercy is taken out from the Lord. So he may not give immediate, he will still wait, keep us wait. So that is my understanding because I am not humble enough to get that mercy. Because it's ultimately, if you understand the elephant, dealing with elephant is, anybody experience that? I heard that wonderful pastime of when elephant is chasing, when a tiger is chasing, you climb up the tree and okay, but elephant is chasing, you cannot do anything, right? Only thing what it works, when elephant is chasing, you have to find a downhill. Only downhill can save you from elephant. Like that, when we are becoming humble, I'm talking to myself, when I'm becoming humble, when you go down, then only this mad elephant offenses will be avoided. That is one thing why I feel like not able to get the mercy of the Lord. But that is again, Radha Gopichandra Vallabha has to give that mercy. Then that enthusiasm can continuously be there. And that is my understanding. But you can correct me. You have more realizations than me. Even though I just like a firefly in front of the sun, all the great devotees here sitting in front of me. Because I told you I have to reiterate my tendency as Haranyakashipu here. Because otherwise, this number of years, I put in resume, right? 15 years, 20 years of experience to boast myself like that, sitting as a everyone says you are a devotee. I'm aspiring to be a devotee, never to be considered as a devotee. Because when we look at second chapter of Gita, you cannot follow. Then what I have, I was always like, feeling very bad about myself. But I just want all of your prayers so that I can walk the talk and at least put into practice. That's what I hear always. The difference between a demon and devotees, and say, and practice also. But I don't have many realizations about that. But you can say so that everybody can hear.
Yeah, I just feel like unless great personality,
Association of great devotees.
no, unless actually a great personality intervenes in our life. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen the example of all the. It's not about external intervention, but internal intervention. I've seen the life of all whoever have achieved the height.
Correct. They have received the mercy of the Guru and
At some point in their life, they receive that divine intervention. They just, and then after that, somehow they just became uh, completely different. Because what I feel is that I mean it's not like a mystical or magical thing, but the point is practically that it's true that there is something which I could be doing or which I should be doing, which I'm not doing, which to go to the next level.
Yeah.
And Krishna knows that. And when Krishna Guru become merciful, they will uncover that explosion to see what we should be doing and inspire me to do that more.
Yeah.
So I feel that, yeah, and frankly, this engagement is not enough. Like Prabhupada says, right?
Yeah.
24 hours engagement.
Yes.
I mean, just hearing that, Prabhupada is telling about all the devotees very proudly. We don't need to tell him. I mean, Prabhupada is not telling to the devotees, Prabhupada is telling about the devotees. We don't let anyone with single moment here.
I'll get the call.
So,
That's nice.
I mean, like, I mean, that's why, sometimes, I feel like when I think about the Guru Maharaj, I think like the amount of service he did in one day is equal to not even 10 years I can do that kind of seva. In one day, his day is Gopal Maharaj. One day, the amount of service, the amount of Jivadoya, the amount of Nam, the amount of Sadhana, everything, they do like crazy, you know. So the thing is that, yeah, I feel like the answer is there. But the thing is just willingness to, give up attachments to the body. Like I just kept sharing, I know recently I was sharing one class. So he is telling, he is telling that, like one devotee was telling that, Prabhuji, I have no time to chant. And he was telling, to increase the chanting, increase the sadhana, do extra in the morning, put extra. He was telling Prabhuji, it's too difficult, there are too many services, the common, the common what he is telling. So he said, yeah, maybe you have to give up your eating and sleeping. You want, because you have to decide which taste you want more. Do you want to taste, do you want the taste of the holiness enough to give up your eating and sleeping? And like how many sleepless nights have we spent up, because we didn't get any taste for the holiness. So yeah, I was thinking that, like Gorgon also says, that too much attached to our body. We don't want to do bhakti in difficult conditions. Too much attached to
Yeah.
our body. And because of the attachment to the body, therefore, I mean, therefore, many options of devotional service are just kind of scratched out right there. Impossible. Impossible. So, I feel like Krishna's mercy is like, okay, only I will do follow this schedule, I will do this, you have to do mercy this one. So, he's saying Krishna, this is my terms and conditions. So,
Yeah.
so I feel that, if you do, like I was thinking that right now, after this go take prasadam, take rest, I was thinking how you just complete Maya. I was thinking that if I just don't take rest, I mean, of course, in this only reason, they don't take rest and I continuously work the full day without a single moment break, a single moment. Definitely, end of the day, will become ecstatic. For I mean, anyone will become ecstatic if you do like that, right? But then, no, 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 I need to do, no, no. Then I'll do tomorrow, tomorrow, I'll do tomorrow. So yeah, so that is the thing. Like I remember, in my Guru Maharaj, I was there, whole day, you have no to take prasadam also you don't have time. So intense. And if the servant is so intense, the servants think about the Maharaj, like how intense he must be. Like many times in Maharaj's eyes are like, so I mean his body is literally like pushed to the ultimate level. He said, no, 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 I'll attend Mangalarti, I'll temple puja. Then his Maharaj will say, I'm taking rest. Okay, I'll become so happy. Like he's taking rest, I also get to take rest. Then after 10 minutes, he'll get up. Like, "I'm taking rest." He look completely refreshed. Just 10 minutes, it's completely refreshed. Like, yeah, I'm good now. All right. I know one time also embarrassing, not say, but I slept and then Maharaj got up and he said, Maharaj, keep sleeping. So, I mean, that is my embarrassing situation. Maharaj is sleeping, nice to remember. So, yeah, I mean, the answer is there, but then, yeah, the desire is not there. It's so,
We have like so many things that we speak. Yesterday we went to Prendam farm. Some devotees went different people, but fishermen came and we went there. And I was talking to Devamada Prabhu and then telling about Devamada Prabhu, how he came and then how he's serving and then all the devotees. Went there. How is he getting maintained? Immediately, thought comes, right? Philosophical points will come immediately. A thought came, then immediately I stopped myself just to say that. Yeah, African, elephants in Africa is getting, fed like anything. The thought comes, but at the same time, am I practicing that? I am not practicing that, so I did not tell that to the devotees. End of the day, Krishna is going to maintain. Sridhar Swami's pastime is ultimate. How Sridhar Swami is inspired by a lizard. As soon as the lizard is, gave birth to baby lizard, right? That baby lizard immediately provided an insect that caught that insect and it is provided his food. That's it. Sridhar Swami left left the baby. It's not to practice in general, but that's how Krishna is going to maintain. But it is, that conviction and Guru's mercy and Vaishnava's mercy.
I just want to add one thing. If you don't mind. Haladar Maharaj told such a very good thing. I will never forget that statement. So many times we take prasad right, in this temple, many times. And many times maybe prasad may not be up to the mark. I mean, according to ours. And many times we think, what is this thing? What is this? Many times we think, right? So he said one thing, very powerful thing. He said that when we take the prasad, we never think that, oh, Krishna did not get it. Not heart that feeling is not thought that feeling. Oh, Krishna did not get it. It's like parents can understand, right? So if you eat something and it's really not good, when your child ate that, immediately the feeling will come.
Yeah.
How could I feel that my child has eaten? So he's thinking that after so many years, I have no attachment to it. Because that doesn't come in my heart, it comes my sense judgment. So that's it. And the second thing I remember also finishing my Shiksha Guru and because Prabhupada's disappearance or appearance or something. So, like in college, normally go to college. In America, college is not so intense anyway, most of the days, except for exam. So he mentioned one thing, so, okay, so he said, you are very serious. I know I will go to college. I have to. He said, just look at me. He said, okay. So that is an attachment to Prabhupada. Today, if Prabhupada disappears today, you can miss your school, you can miss for so many reasons. But for Prabhupada, you can never do that. That shook me. Completely shook. So, Haladar Maharaj says again, the main problem in our spiritual life is we don't have this deep, intimate love for Guru. We don't feel like he is part of us, like he is our everything. We keep him separate and we don't have that feeling. And that's why Seva becomes very difficult. But if we have this feeling, like just like for example, if you're good or any pure devotee were to come, he gives you a lot of mercy. Even if he tells don't eat whole day, you'll be fine, no problem. Why? Because of that intimate loving feeling, that feeling. So yes, that is our main problem. Is that why we're not able to do it? Because we don't have that feeling. We don't feel that. So that's what you think that proper disciples we can learn that how much they have. This is my guru. This is Prabhupada. So I have to do anything. That's why you see that they are working on a different level. Many of them, they may not be getting anything. They don't have any followers. Nobody will know them also. But they are so proud of themselves. They go to New Raman. You see all this, they are so proud of it. You can see they are so proud. Not just happy, they are very proud. Wow. They are so proud.
Which of them?
Even in the kitchen, some matters, nobody knows that. Wow, we're doing this.
With district Prabhu.
That's what seva is not given, right? So it should be given, not like when you're not qualified, then you really understand that feeling. When you are a great cook, then that feeling will go away.
But the great thing is that we do the same job for so many years, still they have such a proud life. They're so proud. I mean, in a Krishna was there, it's not there, but it's so proud that I'm doing this thing. This is the highest perfection. Like, wow, nobody can be more happy than you. You can see that enthusiasm. You see that. That's it.
Yeah.
And I think there's also such a beautiful point because of even a little bhava for service. I always read Mahananda Prabhu's account. When during those times when I searched Srila Prabhupada, the same thing you mentioned. So Mahananda Prabhu says, it used to be so effortless to remember Krishna 24 hours because everyone was doing it and we thought that was natural. And Maya means if you are not doing, for us in those times, Mahananda Prabhu mentions, Vladimir Mataji's husband, one who left her body in Africa, right? So Mahananda Prabhu said, for us, Maya meant if you are not serving Krishna 24 hours, for us, that is Maya. That was our definition of Maya. So, but I was thinking, and his writings are all very spontaneous like Prabhupada writings. Right? Very like, it's like boom, like that. No intellectual adjustment, no preparation, no slide PPT, but it's like spontaneous boom, just like that. I felt that one of the reasons is that they are factually realized. The factual realization of reality of Krishna as an essential fact, as an irrevocable fact. Irrevocable fact. Krishna is a fact. So that is enlightened in their heart, and then they're able to see Krishna's lotus feet continuously. And because of having the darshan of Sri Guru's feet, right, and Shri Krishna, Shri Radha and Krishna's lotus feet, this darshan, they're having the darshan. The darshan is giving them Navanava Rasa Dhammi, they're giving newer and newer mellows and ecstasy in their heart. And because of their intense absorption in the newer and newer rasas, they are very satisfied and they are not seeking an external adjustment of another circumstance. So they're seeing newer and newer and newer and tastes, and because of that, everything else appears very bland and tasteless and indifferent and boring and mundane. All the boring words that are there in English. This newer ecstasy of a person who's beginning in the Krishna consciousness is able to experience because of his deep surrender. I mean, they want to so.
Thank you so much.
Great for your amazing fun. The lecture was like a spear darting through the false ego of the heart and then breaking it open and then without any ifs and buts. Very very simple as absorption and modeling observation. And interestingly, I was thinking, Prahlad Maharaj makes this Graha Vratana in both the situations when he's being called. First situation is being called by Prahlad Maharaj, is saying Graham First also Graham was the point. Second time he's being also he's saying Graha Vratana.
Yeah.
And so both the times he's being called by Hiranyakashipu, he's saying that because of absorption of material.
Yeah, one more thing that Prabhupada's memories, I feel Prabhupada, what he spoke, and even his memories are very powerful. Like one can, is very hope giving to me. So one time, one devotee, I forgot his name, was trying to offer something to Krishna and he was struggling. Prabhupada said, break it. Everyone should hear very carefully. Prabhupada said, break it. And then he brought Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, no, so when I came back, I could feel that Prabhupada gave this kind of experience to people. Just, it's such a real, tangible experience of what it means to be in a relationship with people. So
because you say same thing, it's making Prabhupada saying the same thing. By offering oneself to a pure devotee of the Lord, Prabhupada says more about by offering oneself to the pure devotee of the Lord, one has already offered himself to the confidential associates of the Lord. It's already done. Right? Simply by offering oneself to the everything is done. Wow.
Yes, we can stop.
But that is only, after many times after offering, you go and hold Prabhupada, please, you do that.